What is up, guys? Welcome to Truth and Transparency. How you guys doing? What's today, Monday? Welcome on a Monday happy hour. So let's go ahead and grab a little happy hour toast. I think I'm going to go with White Claw today. You know, White Claw coming through. Let's see what we got. No law with the claw. Ready? There you go. Again, happy hour. Let's dive into some of this case. Again, welcome to the transparency. Good to see you guys, or good to see your names, rather. What's up to the moderators? Miss you guys, too. I've been sweating. I've been getting my grind on with soccer. Got my whistle. Working my son out. So what is up? Again, welcome everybody. Thank you all to the new memberships. Those of you guys that were signing up while the live was up before it started. So welcome to all of those new members. Jen, welcome to Truth and Transparency. Those are much appreciated, those memberships. Again, moderators, subs, members, you guys rocking or what? I got Hector out here. We got the defense asking for more discovery. So we're going to talk about that. What is up? Bumblebee? Yeah. What is up, Truth Wins? Good to see you here. I saw somebody had a baby. Someone's having a baby. Someone's a grandma. We got some gilfs in here. What's up, Kaz there? What's up, Kaz? Good evening, Lana. Thanks for the early live. You got it. All right, again, welcome to everybody, all the mods here. Thank you guys for being here, making it so kosher in the chat. What's up, Kendra? How are you? Good to see you here. JJ, Jeremiah. Love me some JJ. Yep, Bumblebee is here for this. Oh, yeah. Hector for my blind ass. There you go. Let's make Hector clear. Let's autofocus Hector there for you. All right. What we're looking at here is just defense fifth supplemental request for discovery. Okay. And then they posted their request for discovery exhibit D. It was attached, but it is, under seal. And then July 12th, same thing, another request. And this was defendant's sixth supplemental request for discovery. Again, and they went ahead and posted their exhibit E attached to defendant's sixth, and that is under seal. So those two things, move that over there. We'll go like this. And we're going to jump right into this part, which is what was on the thumbnail. So, objection overruled. Thank you for that super sticker. Appreciate that. What you guys are looking at here is another document. And this was it was July 13th. As you can see there. And what we're looking at here is this is Meta Platforms, okay? And when you get all the way to right about here, on April 19th, 2023, I obtained a search warrant for Instagram. See Instagram. Now, this would all look so perfect, but home team here, we said, no way. This is not all perfect. Let me show you why. right here, the warrant was served on April 20th, okay, through a law enforcement portal. And on May 12th, I received an email from Meta stating that usernames with prefix U, that U slash, they were not located. Well, I'm going to tell you guys why. Okay. When you go into Instagram, Crime Sleuthin', you must have saw my video or saw Diego. No, actually, I was in there and told him about it, wrote it in chat. This is actually part of my thumbnail. But as much as I wish I could watch all of you guys, I just can't quite do that and function. So, but here it is. Let's take a look. U, so I'm gonna go like this. This is when you do U and whatever comes after it. This is, U stands for user, okay, user. And this would be what you would do to look for, okay, under Reddit users. All right, if you're actually looking up in Instagram, there is no U, okay? So therefore, there would be no data that would come back because you didn't do it right. Okay. So the U stands for yes, user, as in username, user. U is not for Instagram. Therefore, you would not be putting the U slash anything. Okay. U is for Reddit. And then here you go. He says, therefore, no data was received pursuant to this warrant. Well, no shit, Sherlock. There's going to be no data because you didn't do it right. Okay, you're gonna come up with page not found. All right. But now my question is, we know that they know how to do this because you got to go back and look at the other, what do you want to call it? Oh, search warrants. They've done it before. They've done Instagram before. And so how do you mess this up? I have no idea. I don't know how you would mess this up. Thank you again for that super sticker there. Helena, thank you very much. Whoop, whoop. So, not sure if Anne and the crew have caught this yet. I mean, I'm sure that they are on it if we are on it. Come on now, right? But if you go back and you look, you're going to find Instagrams. There clearly was stuff received from Instagram in the past. All right. And whatever information you're trying to go ahead and obtain, yeah, of course it wasn't going to come back because you didn't do it right. Now, I mean, how does that happen? So there's this, which is one down. Now, we're going to go into next up, T-Mobile. Now, guys, I'm going to do something that I've never done before, which is go on the record and say something that I believe with the totality of everything that we've been given, based off of everything that we've heard from family and everything that we've been given. And I'm going to go on the record with something, and I've never done this before, so this will be a first. But that's kind of how confident I am in it. Everybody's been going nuts about the T-Mobile and the other number that was provided now. Now, just so everybody knows that 48, pull it up here. Okay. This 100, oopsies. Okay. This is Kaylee's number. How do we know that? Because it was in the Tinder, the Reddit searches. When you go into the those search warrants, this number was used, and these are Kaylee's. This is Kaylee's number. Okay. Wireless number with this. Now, we were told because of her family that Kaylee was on her mother's plan. Could this be her mom's cell phone number? It could be. Could it also be another number that Kaylee had? It could be, right? But anybody out there that's saying that the 4782, this is the first time, you're seeing this because it was redacted when looking at the other ones back in the day. This is the only number that's ever been associated with Kaylee. Okay. Now, back when this all happened and we started getting the search warrants, I took and made, let me back this out. I took all of the search warrants and I put them in chronological order based on two different ways. Based on when they were sought, and that became a list, and then based on when they were returned, okay, and that became a list. So there was two separate lists, which was in chronological order, what was law enforcement seeking, okay, boom. Then the other list was, now we're going to take them and put them in order based on when they received their returns back, okay. So what was law enforcement basically deeming was so important that they sought them out, as well as just what's, I guess you could say, boilerplate to go after. Then you have, when did they actually receive the stuff? Okay. And that would be this one here. Chronological order of when law enforcement asked for the search warrants. Okay. And then, when you got them back. Actually, I have to find my other sheet of paper because that's not the right one. But this is when law enforcement asked for the search warrants. It's something that you would come across. Crime Sleuthin', I've seen the work that you've done. I've saw the videos that you've made of me, and therefore that is why you're no longer allowed to be in my live chats. This is from the past. Best of luck with your channel, and we'll see you some other time. Yeah. Oh, thirsty. Never looks so good. Cheers. Personally, I thought that account was blocked a long time ago. So, yeah. Now let's begin again. Here we go. Back over here. So then when you go and you look at these right here, that I put up 6 months ago. There you go. Where in here does it show that T-Mobile being asked to produce anything for 4818? This cell phone number, 4818, okay, T-Mobile, I went back and looked through all my stuff, and I was like, you know what? T-Mobile wasn't asked for anything. It was Apple, and then the Apple iCloud that was asked, and Reddit and Tinder with that number. But there was never anything that was asked of T-Mobile to produce anything that had to do with like phone records or, if you go to, AT&T or Verizon. But the Apple iCloud was what was sought out. Okay. Well, let me ask you guys a question. Would you say that it would be an isolated, targeted attack and that law enforcement would deem this targeted if you walked into a house, and let's say that everybody's cell phone was there except for one person? What if everybody's cell phone was there except for one person? Would that make you be like, whoa, okay. What would you think if you were law enforcement? Let me zoom in here. Okay, they didn't go for anybody else's Reddit account except for Kaylee's. With Apple, you have Ethan, Xana, Maddie. Those are the last four. What do you guys think? If you were to be law enforcement and you walked in and you're able to recover everybody's cell phone except for one person, what would you think? So I went back and I looked at, again, Chronicles of Olivia did an interview with obviously the family, but she also talked to Kaylee's sister, Olivia, at what seemed like to be like a restaurant. Okay. And when she was doing this, Kaylee's sister was like, Kaylee had a LinkedIn. It was functioning, and then all of a sudden it vanished. I called law enforcement and I said, why did you delete my sister's LinkedIn? And they're like, we didn't do that. We're not allowed to do that. That's against the law. Okay. I don't believe that law enforcement deleted that LinkedIn account. Okay. But when you take that, okay, you take the fact of Kaylee's family had to provide law enforcement with stuff early on so that things could be retrieved quicker, they said. They say that the only time that they reference anybody's cell phone in the PCA is Xana's to say that it was forensically downloaded. Okay. But there's no talks about, Kaylee or Maddie or Ethan's phone being forensically downloaded. The only thing that we hear about, we have no return of any items that were taken out of the house. Okay. So again, what I'm going to announce here is my opinion based off of the totality of everything that we know today, and based off of immediately out the gate, this was a targeted attack. So I see these search warrants, and they went for the iCloud. Okay, they went for the iCloud of these accounts. They went for the provider to deal with cell phone towers. Let me show you. When this was first sought for, you have Verizon, T-Mobile. this would be an amended search warrant. When they did T-Mobile the first time, okay, that would be on 11/21. Okay, there's an amended one. See search warrant, amended search warrant. So I went through to be able to see what was different and how they were wording things. And this is all about the service provider. So what they were looking for was they wanted GPS coordinates. Okay. They wanted GPS. Believe that the data may contain of a homicide between November 13th, 3 and 5. Okay. This data, so if you go and look at the different wording that they use, this is all about data may contain of a homicide. Believe that the data may contain of a homicide versus, let's look at this language, which is search warrant and probable cause to believe property consists of evidence of the crimes of homicide and burglary occurring at 1122 King Road. So I was just looking at the difference of the language in everything, because I do think it matters, because your search warrants have to be that money when you're going to try to obtain one. And they have to be clear and concise of what you want, why, and everything like that. So I was going back through all the old stuff, then looking at the new stuff, and they immediately went for the cell phone towers, okay? And they wanted to see what was pinging off of these cell phone towers within this small radius right by the house, okay, to see who was there. But don't you also think that that could also be done to see where, if these, if, for example, with T-Mobile, that's going to be, you know, Kaylee's phone. She's with T-Mobile. To see if this phone was used, where it was used at, when's the last time it was used. The new search warrants extended time period was to include June 23rd until August 1st, because everything just stopped at August 1st. And when that was extended was when I believe Ann Taylor came in through and was like, there is nothing tying my client to knowing any of these people, having any connection with any of these people. And so therefore you have to possibly do another search warrant so you can extend it further back. Let's see, you know, back when he got there. So let's go June 23rd, or when he got that phone, you know, things like that, all the way up until the 1st. So when all of us started making waves, and why they went out and got these extended dates, in my opinion, okay, is because they were searching to see where this link with Brian and everybody else could be. All right. Right. But now let's go back to Kaylee's phone. Why did they only go and look for Kaylee's Reddit? Okay. Why didn't they do a search warrant for anybody else's Reddit except for Kaylee's? Well, because if you have their phone and when you forensically download it, it's going to be there, right? Again, Tinder. Why was Kaylee's account the first one issued a search warrant for? Well, because if you forensically download the other phones, you're going to be able to get stuff in that forensic download when you sell, write, dump, right? But if you don't physically have somebody's phone, you cannot do a forensic download. You cannot do a forensic download if you do not have that physical phone. Okay, so therefore you would have to issue more search warrants for that specific person whose cell phone you do not have, right? Now, let's look at let's take a look at this. I'm going to show you guys right here. Okay. So this is what everyone's tripping about, right? Like, whose number is this and whose number could this be? We know that's Kaylee's. Okay. This would be Kaylee's. We know 4818's Kaylee's. How do we know that? Because that's what links to her Tinder account and to the Reddit account that's on the search warrants. 100%, this is Kaylee's phone. But remember what Kaylee's mom said. She was part of her plan. She was on her plan. Like if a lot of kids in college, they're on their parents' plan because when they leave for school, they're on their plan from high school. Okay? But what I have a question about here, guys, is how and why would they need to seek this wireless number ending in 4782, okay, and the probable cause to do that, if that number pertains to somebody else, let's say you're a parent, what probable cause do you have to go and get any information on this number? So again, that's something that I'm going to ask, someone in law enforcement to say, how do you go about that? Do you have probable cause to go into that phone that has like nothing to do with that? But if you go through all of the search warrants, and I've done it in the past, you can go back and look at those. I'm not going to do that. But what I'm going to tell you is that I went through them all very, very meticulously. And everything that shows me when you take everything that they were looking for and the dates that they were looking for everything, okay? And with the search warrants, and you put them all in chronological order, and you see, okay, well, why wasn't Kaylee's LinkedIn? Why wasn't that ever searched? Why weren't any of these kids' LinkedIn searched? Okay. Well, if you have people's phones and you download them and you do a forensic download, if you have their phone, but if you don't have their phone, you can't do that. So we go back to Kaylee, and I'm like, she was the first one that they sought for everything. Tinder account number 2. Not sure who account it was, but that wasn't sought after until 12/6. Okay. Tinder account number 3, 12/22. See, they were able to do the Facebook and the Instagram perfectly fine back on 11/21, but then when they go to do it this past time, they're doing it wrong. Let's see. Here we go. Tinder account number 1. 11/29. They find Brian's car. Tinder account number 1. And it's only Kaylee's account. 12/5. Why? Well, I don't know. They used her phone number for all these social medias. Why? Because I believe that her cell phone, ready? I'm going to bring it here first. I believe that Kaylee's cell phone is not and was not at that house when they were there. I believe that everything that you take as a whole, that it comes back that Kaylee's cell phone was not there. And if the other 3 victims were there, and what's really, really triggering me to say this is the LinkedIn account. Ready for this? If you have a pass code on your phone, for me, I have an iPhone, swipe it, then it asks for your password, or you could look at it, your pupils, you can use your fingerprint. You can do all of those things if somebody is dead to do it. Or you can do it before they're dead. Okay. But how could Olivia see that Kaylee's social LinkedIn was there and then it wasn't? If you go into my phone and you click on, let's just say Facebook, it's going to go right to the point of that you're just in my Facebook and you could start posting as me. It's not asking for you to says what's on your mind, So if you were to hit the LinkedIn app from her phone, you could then do what? Delete it. If you could get into it, you could delete it. There's only one way you can delete a LinkedIn account. You have to do it through your LinkedIn account. Now, so my question is in all of this, why wasn't Kaylee's LinkedIn account put in for a search warrant? Her sister says, she goes to, the media and says, listen, my sister had this account. It was there and it was deleted. Okay. How is that possible? Well, it's because it was deleted from her phone. But we would be able to tell all of this. You're going to know when that happened. You're going to be able to know all of this. Go get the data behind it. You're going to know when it was deleted. You're going to know what IP address did it. And so to me, there's a couple things, again, that all stick out, is that if this was a targeted attack, and you're saying that early on in the investigation, you were able to determine this was a targeted attack. Well, if one victim didn't have their cell phone there and everybody else did, so this victim's cell phone was taken, then the LinkedIn account was deleted. What's on your LinkedIn account? It's all your work history. Your work history is your LinkedIn account. And what's been sus about all of this? Kaylee's work history. Everything to do with Kaylee's work history, that's what's sus. Who would want to delete that? You got Extreme Network saying that she joined them in June and did her internship in June of 2022. The same time frame that they're taking all the cell phones back all the way until June. Okay, June 2022. Yep, we want more information all the way going back till June. Delete it in terms of off the internet to be able to be seen. Okay. So, but there's going to be all this information that you can go out and get. Okay. And I'm just questioning, why wasn't the LinkedIn put in for a search warrant? Why would that be somebody's go-to? What was on Kaylee's LinkedIn? Why are we being told that she was starting an internship, or even that she was starting work? Kaylee did an internship in the summer. Kaylee interned with Extreme. She began in June. I have the Extreme guy writing that, saying that, boom, June. June of 2022. If I was in law enforcement and I would say that everybody's cell phone was there except for one person, I would be like, okay, why is this one cell phone missing? This was targeted. These people were trying to get to, like, they wanted that. And then you guys want to talk about burglary? They stole something. What did they steal? Her cell phone. Okay? So you want to talk about, you have a crime of burglary, okay? And you have a crime of 4 homicides. Well, to me, and you have a target here. Well, if everybody's cell phone was taken, it would be, hey, they took everybody's cell phone. One cell phone missing out of the bunch. You can't forensically download that cell phone. You're not going to know what's on there. I'm saying when you take the totality, of, if of all the information that we've been told, this is what would deem me early on that it would be targeted. Okay. Throw out your drugs, throw out everything like that. Okay, guys, that's all speculation. But if a cell phone would be missing, okay, of only one victim, then I would say that victim could potentially be what? The target. We needed to get hers. Why didn't they take the other cell phones? Why are you making way more search warrants for Kaylee's stuff and doing so in the beginning than anybody else's? Then Kaylee's LinkedIn was deleted. How could that be deleted? Well, right from her phone, it could be deleted. Going right into that app and deleting it. And then what was the immediate, you go and look at this, or was it? Let's see. They wanted, the GPS coordinates. There's different language in the original search warrant for T-Mobile, and then it was amended. And they wanted right here. They wanted the GPS coordinates. Distance from location 2 miles. Lawrence Mowry, having given me proof upon oath this day showing probable cause, establishing grounds for issuing a search warrant and probable cause to believe property consists of records generated by the cellular network that are in the possession, custody, and or control of T-Mobile, hereafter the service provider, a cellular service provider. Mowry further stated that this data is in possession of the service provider and believe that the data may contain of a homicide between November 13th from 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. Search of all records and unique device, user identifiers pertaining to time, blah, blah, blah. SMM, all that here. That provide coverage to, that was part was redacted. GPS coordinate, November 13th, 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. Let me ask you guys a question. Why early on, okay, 3 a.m. to 5 a.m.? Why would this be so tight if you truly think about it? You know, they got Linda Lane on the 14th. For each communication with the network. And remember, all of these came back negative for Brian's, cell phone. So I want to hear from you guys in terms of what do you think about Kaylee's cell phone? Does law enforcement have it? Were they able to forensically download it via, why did the parents have to step in and help and provide them with a ton of stuff in the beginning, because search warrants were going to take a long time to get back, blah, blah, blah. So here you go. You don't have to show your face on camera, but you do have to show your face back in the back area. So there is your link if you want it, but just want to know your thoughts on that cell phone, Kaylee's cell phone. Does law enforcement have Kaylee's cell phone? Your thoughts. Mm-hmm. I think they have her cell phone, or we would have heard about it from their family who talks a lot. Mm-hmm. Yep, they don't actually have to take anything. 100%. Nope, they don't. I think that was a big thing for them. And again, this is just my personal opinion based on the totality. What do you think? Hello there, Tina. Welcome to Truth and Transparency. Tina, you're just muted if you hit the unmute button. You gotta.
Sorry. Hey, Lana, my fellow.
How are you? Welcome.
Well, I'm not in Pennsylvania now, but I'm from Pittsburgh.
Okay.
So we're neighbors.
We are.
I born over there, so I kind of relate to you. Listen, here's my theory. I think that the murderer stole the phone. We don't know if it's connected to drugs, which we all think. But also, this person may also still be connected to the drugs, but may be connected to her job that she was going to get. And here's the thing. Like you said, they could use the thumbprint to open it up. And once they open it up, the settings are there. They can leave it out, then they can go through the phone themselves too.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's why they want to see the data in the GPS, to see if they have been opening up that phone.
Oh yeah, 100. I just, I look at that PCA and, you see that they're using only certain people's phones for certain things. I've never heard of them not using, the victim's phone as far as like a time of death. Well, if somebody got on her phone and was using it past the point that she was dead to, let's say, delete this account, then that's how they wouldn't be able to use that phone.
Yeah, and then if you look at the past of Moscow from way in the beginning, there's always been shady business going on over there. Lots of money in the middle of nowhere. She lived in that house that you found, and maybe she did get a little bit too close, because you have to ask, why Kaylee? Why Kaylee?
Yeah, 100. I mean, why any of these kids? But when you want to go ahead and say like targeted, and we don't know if the house was the target or if that's just, I don't know if that was just a way for them to try to like walk some stuff back so that people weren't like, digging on them.
And Steve kept saying, my daughter's really smart. She can figure out things. She's always been really smart and able to figure out things. And one day with the garage door and everything else and the things he was saying, he was trying to say it without saying it, because I think he's afraid of the police department too. And why would they want to look at her mother's phone? What's with that?
Yeah, and well, that's the other thing, is that it's, we technically don't know whose phone that is, but based off of everything that her mom has said, that they shared an account, you would think that phone, has to do with that. But it could be that Kaylee had two phones. I don't know. People that have iPads, if you ever have a cell phone with an iPad, I'm not sure.
Yeah, you do. I have an iPad. You do, if you're paying for the service, because once you're done paying for the iPad, you no longer have to keep that phone number. But they do put a phone number on there so that she can use the data.
Yeah, so like there's that option too. Were those two numbers actually associated with Kaylee due to one being a cell phone and one being, your iPad? So
yeah, and the one girl I just said, good question. She was asking about her laptop. I use my iPad as a laptop, so that was probably her laptop. She did everything in, they have really big ones now. So it was easy to carry around, easy to use. It's pretty cheap. Like if you have XFit, what was her company that she used? T-Mobile. Well, I don't know how cheap it is for them, but Xfinity is super cheap. It's like $12 a month, pays for your iPad and pays for your unlimited data.
Yeah,
so that
stuff through T-Mobile.
So it's cheaper for her to do an iPad.
Yeah. So, I mean, all of that just, as far as like that second number, I would think that has to have some relevance to Kaylee, in my opinion. But,
So I don't think it's her mother. I was thinking at first when you were saying, well, maybe she knew something, but I don't think it is. I think it's the iPad, like you say. I'm pretty sure about that. But it's like, I think they found out she was coming into town. They heard, the grapevine through the sorority, whoever went in there, and they said, we better get her while we can. But they expected her and Maddie to be there, but not the other two. I'm sorry, but I still think that the audio at the time is correct on that video. I think what we heard is what we heard, and I don't think it was manipulated. Of course, we have to question it. Of course, we have to question everything. If we can't confirm it, we have to continue to believe there's some doubt. But I don't know. The sounds that were on there, and my husband and I were talking, and we were talking about the way it bounces off. It does bounce off and go.
Yeah, it's totally like it sounds like an amphitheater, like everything that they've called it,
Yeah, because those two buildings together is like when we were kids with the paper horn. We'd talk in it, and the noise would go further. It works the same way.
Yeah.
And I believe the no and the Xana. I heard it. I don't think that, and I don't know. I've never heard Ethan's voice, but for some reason, to me, that's his voice. I never heard his voice.
Yeah, and if you can hear stuff on Taylor, if people think about it, the cops are always talking about like, we could hear your music, we can hear you guys all the way down, on Taylor. So like for people to say like, oh, you wouldn't be able to hear that on Linda Lane over there, like I disagree.
No.
Just because of the body cams that we've gone through when you're playing that music, when you're like,
But doesn't Payne live right across the street in the apartment buildings? Officer Payne?
No, I don't know. That's not what I have. No.
No. I thought somebody, I heard on, maybe it was another channel that said that. But also, that you guys were talking about the Moose Lodge.
Yes, the Moose Lodge.
Okay,
Yeah.
the Moose Lodge. Didn't you put a video of a guy that was fighting at the Moose Lodge? And meanwhile, Ethan was supposed to have been at the Moose Lodge fighting with someone?
Well, I don't have that Ethan was at the Moose Lodge. I just pulled the stuff to do with the Moose Lodge that night because it was the weekend of Veterans Weekend, and I didn't know if that had anything to do with Brent Kapaka being there, but also just the weirdness surrounding it. It was a very weird report, and then you saw the video, and you clearly saw that the Moose Lodge was like, we don't call the cops. You come to us first. We handle it, and then if we need to. And then the guy was like, wait, what? You can't be telling your people not to call the cops.
No. No.
So it was a very interesting, like, the dynamic of the conversation once the cops were there. The guy's just like, wait, what?
I was just on what's that guy's name, and I was talking on there. I've seen you over there. The Italian guy, what's his name?
Oh, Dago?
Dago.
Yeah.
Yes. I think he was talking about, he had heard they went to the Moose Lodge. And that guy from the Moose Lodge said he went to the corner bar. He did. He was there. He was at the corner bar. He went to the corner bar.
Yeah, the guy, that's the Heath.
Check into him.
I've already done that. That was like, in March, I did a whole big thing on him. He lived at White Ave. He has the same name as a sheriff /
Yeah, and he's been in prison in Idaho, northern Idaho.
He was just arrested again for.
And then I think he lived in Texas. I'm telling you, he might be involved in this. Somewhere.
Yeah, he lived in Texas. Yeah,
and
his family has money from Rexburg, so trust me, I know all about the guy.
Because
I know too much about everybody. I tell you what.
I read his Facebook. I found him in his Facebook. I'm looking at, and I'm like,
I was just interested in the name because it was the same name as an officer. I was like, wait a second, this can't, but.
You have to follow the money. I keep saying that. I said that on Dago. I've only watched him a few times, and I can't believe I was on there before you.
Well, welcome, Tina. Glad that you got to be here today.
I like your show more. I really do.
Oh, well, I like
Just kind of like, it's like my tribe.
Your tribe, look out. Well, we love Dago too.
We don't argue over here, and there's a lot arguing going over there, and
well,
a little more favoritism going on over there, and
we don't talk about that.
No, so over here there's none of that going on. Okay. So no, you know how it is. The people who are on there, and the people that his followers.
I gotta let you go, Tina. I just don't want to talk about other people's panels. Yeah, no thanks. Sorry, Tina. All right. Was I able to share that again? Next up, I got my whistle today. So check this out, guys. Paste. There it is. All right, ready to check this out. 3 minutes is up. I got my whistle. So there's your link, though. Have your couple minutes. Tell me what you think. This is the question. The question is, and I'm going to make people stay on topic. So if you don't want to come and give your opinion on Kaylee's cell phone, then you're going to take us all off a topic. So the topic is, do you believe that law enforcement has Kaylee's cell phone? So there's your link. Oh, snap. We got the ref, Lana, on it. Yeah, I got your 3 minutes, so I got my thing doing it. So here. Hold on. So here it is. Do you think Ellie has Kaylee's cell phone? No one would delete her linked account. That is bizarre. Well, according to the family and according to actually like receipts, like they had it shown. So Kaylee definitely had a LinkedIn account. So um, then you're basically saying that she would have deleted it right before she died. Um, Amy D, you are not connected, so your device is not connected. So you're gonna have to get a different device because it's saying device is not connected. But I will happy to have you back once that all works out for you. Ready? There you go. Thank you for that super sticker. So I guess no, you guys really don't have any. This is a very important topic here. Targeted attack, man. Targeted attack. Why would it be targeted? What would early on be able to that they'd be able to say that this was a targeted attack, man? Think about it. Mr. Lux, you were on the clock. And
Hi, Lena. How you doing?
what's up? How are you?
I'm doing well. I don't know if you remember me or not. It's been a while since we talked.
Oh, I do. I do.
Okay. Yeah. I wanted to touch. I'll stay on topic and talk about Kaylee's phone. I have a whole theory about that, but I just want to touch on Ian Harsh. I don't know if I'm even saying his name right, but it's crazy to me how everyone wants to just dump on this guy, but he's the only one that came out when this case first. And when they first announced this case, this guy came out and said, "I saw a black SUV." I heard
He nailed it.
He nailed it, and everyone wants to make him some type of weirdo. Okay, the guy's who he is.
He's great. We had him on the other night.
Right.
He nailed it, and it is what it is, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you can't call nothing the guy has done wrong except being himself. Maybe he's not the coolest guy in the world, or he's not the most charming guy in the world. You know, it's the same thing with BK. I mean, I feel like they try to put this persona on people when they're trying to take you under, and they're like, you know, oh, this guy's a weirdo. He's this and that. What has Ian Harsh done that's so weird? What has he done? You know what I mean?
That's why I say, like, there's all this evidence they want to say. Where's this evidence? I must be blind.
Yeah, tell me about it.
You know, that car should have been lit up like Christmas morning.
Yes.
And there's no forensics on the car. He had all this time to, you know, clean. It's like,
Lena, it drives me crazy with that whole, how they say that he wrapped up the car. How can you wrap up a car? You talking about blood fluid, right?
Yeah.
Fluid, not just fluid, DNA. I mean, you would, even if you wrapped up the car fluid, it could drip in the corner of the car. Blood would drip in the corner. You'd be soaked in blood. I mean, even if he did that crime, okay, Lena, there will be a path outside, some type of a path of him heading out. Like, he couldn't just throw his clothes in a bag. Like, he touched his bag, blood would be everywhere on that bag. So DNA would still be in that car somewhere. Like, where would he put the bag after he touched it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, no, I agree. Like, that's what Scott Roeder said. Scott Roeder said, you have no idea. It is harder to clean up blood, okay, than one would think. And there's going to be a sign of it. There's going to be
Jennifer Caffendaver. I don't even know if I'm saying her name right. I don't even mean to botch her name, but she's an ex-law enforcement. She's saying I'm an FBI agent, and she's the one spilling this dumb stuff all over these channels. Oh, he wrapped up the car. Really? You were in the FBI and you believe someone could stab like 4 people and be soaked in blood and wrap up the car, and he thought the blood would disappear, or the blood would just stay on the plastic and just wrap this up and throw this away, and nothing spilled anywhere.
But yet he drove around so that his car was on this camera, you know, all these times. But he's gonna wrap a car though. Come on, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, somebody that's gonna wrap a car, they're gonna know, like, okay, shit, why am I even using my own car? Why wouldn't I just go rent a car?
And Lena, I'm gonna get to Kaylee's cell phone. I'm gonna be quick. That just goes into the line of all the mishaps in this case that makes absolutely no sense. But speaking about Kaylee's phone, all right, I'm gonna get to that. Now, I have my own theory, and it's completely theory. I'm speculating. I was not there. I have no idea what the hell happened. But what we heard before this arrest was that video of Kaylee and Maddie walking with, I think, what's his name? Jack S.
Mhm.
Showalter, right? So they walking in that white SUV, in the bag, just take a turn, right?
Yeah, the
And
truck.
then she said, "Oh, Kaylee, what did you tell Adam?" And Kaylee said, "I told Adam everything." And you could hear, and I can't confirm this, but you can hear in the background Showalter saying, "Oh, they're gonna get you for this." Now, I want to know what this conversation was about because it's not clearer. And I like to know what they have on Kaylee's cell phone between that conversation. Did she text anybody? Did she text Maddie? Did she text Jack D or Showalter about that conversation? I want to know more about that conversation. I believe that Ellie has her cell phone data because they would want to know too. And I believe there's a cover up in this case. I believe there's a deep. I'm 90, I would say 80% convinced there's a cover up in this case. And I'm not saying that KB didn't do it because we just don't know. We just seen
Yeah. No, that's how I am. I don't know who did it because right now, everything that I see, I don't know who did it. So when someone asks me, Lana, who do you think did it? I'm on the jury. I have no idea who did it because I'm telling you this right now. Nothing that has been presented shows anybody. Like I got foreign DNA that has not been named in that house. So you have Brian, you say you have Brian Kohlberger's and how you obtained it. And I got the defense saying that basically that sheet was placed, right? But I have 2 unidentified male DNA. So why aren't we concerned about whose DNA that is? You know what I'm saying? Like if this was the John Benet Ramsey case, those would be the people that people would be like, okay, well, why wouldn't that make anybody think that there's multiple killers?
Lena, I'm gonna end with this, right?
Okay.
We seen the guy from Brooklyn, right? We seen the SK from Brooklyn, right?
Oh yeah.
They just grabbed this guy, and he was some type of architect or had an office somewhere. So I'm not putting anything past BK being a student or a PhD student. He couldn't do this. Okay, we've seen all people from all walks of life commit heinous crimes. What I'm gonna say is, whenever do you see a pattern? Whenever they catch these SK or people that commit heinous crimes, guess what they do? They just cough up. They're not fighting this case, asking for all this evidence that Ann Taylor's doing. She knows this guy's innocent. She's not crazy. You know what I'm saying? Why would she waste her time? Why would BK fight this like that, knowing that? First of all, the crime doesn't make sense. He leave a state that has no death penalty to go commit a crime in a state that has the death penalty with a bunch of people he has no connection with, zero connection with. That makes absolutely no sense, no way in hell. So to me, at the end of the day, like, hey, how can you not question this case?
It doesn't make sense. None of it makes sense.
Yeah, so I'm gonna leave you with this. That's all I wanted to say.
You rock. I appreciate good callers, and you're one of those. So thank you there, Mr. Lux. You have a blessed Monday night. Today's Monday, right?
Yes, it is.
Well, cheers to I got you on that White Claw right here. Cheers, buddy.
All right, take care. Enjoy your summer. Bye-bye.
All right, you too. I like him. All right, next up we have Double Take. Cheers.
What up, Chica?
What's going on, Double Take?
Not much.
Cheers.
So,
you got some.
Oh yeah, let me grab my white. Hold on, I gotta grab my White Claw. Hold on.
Okay, make sure you get your White Claw. You got some big shoes to fill. Mr. Lux just laid it down.
I know. So now I got to spread it out since he laid it down. Got mine.
Oh wait, what kind do you have? You get the black cherry.
Blackberry. Yeah.
Okay. So we're
Blackberry. Yeah.
We got the black.
Yeah.
All right. So what's
good enough?
What do you think?
All right. Oh gosh. Okay. So I don't know if you remember me, like a couple of months ago. I was the mincemeat chick.
Yeah, I write everybody's names down over here. I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay. I know you were saying like everything about everyone, and I was like, oh, thank God. Okay, cool. So she'll know I'm broke. I'm just kidding.
I try not to.
No, I'm the same way. Someone comes into our family, and I'm like, what's their full name, and run a background check.
Yeah.
So that's the old PO in me.
Yeah. Oh wait, you didn't know that's stalking?
Yeah. I know, right? So I was like, well. I know.
Like, no,
sorry. Yeah, I'm trying to save your rear end. Okay, this is the thing. I think that it could be one of two things. I'm just going to stick on topic because, it's so easy to run on tangents with this case because of no evidence, really. So we're just guessing. We're trying to pull and connect everything together. So,
I'll time you out.
Okay, cool. Get that soccer whistle going. So one of two things ring in my head. One, yeah, law enforcement has it, and maybe they want the defense to think they don't have it, but yet they have all this information. But where is it, right? Where's all the information? Why would they just hold it and delete the LinkedIn?
Yeah, yeah. So you think that Kaylee's LinkedIn? You think that they did go and get it?
No.
Yeah, I think we would see that.
Yeah, I personally think whomever those people were, one or more perpetrators, I personally think they had her open her phone and delete it there, and I think she knew who it was. And if they did it while she was alive, it was to make sure, because maybe it was password protected further. Because sometimes, when I have apps on my phone, each one has a password. So I don't know. But that was one thought. The other thought was that they took the phone after the crime, and they were told specifically to grab it.
Okay.
Because I personally, and this is just my personal opinion, of course, and it's very
I gave you a disclaimer,
sad.
so you're good.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. These are just my opinions. These are not proof at all or anything. It's just how we're trying to brainstorm some crap. But I want to believe that this case wasn't a hit, but because of just how everything that's been given out and the direction law enforcement still went, and then the prosecutor, and that the fact that he's still sitting in jail, either you have more that you're not telling us, or this is the best setup that they thought was going to slide under the radar. I don't want to think that. I coming from having a law enforcement background, I don't want to think that, but there are people that do behave that way. They are human beings. They're police officers, they're law enforcement, whatever you want to, they're still people. And yes, they should live to a code of conduct of integrity, right? But that doesn't mean that they do.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to think they're involved.
Yeah. I mean, and that's a good way to think, you know what I mean? Like, that's how it should be. So it should be hard for us to think that way. So I think that I appreciate that. I just believe that I saw it with my own eyes. Kaylee's, LinkedIn was there, and then it wasn't. And that happened after she was deceased, according to her sister, that happened after she was deceased. So what that tells me is that happened afterwards. And is that part of the reason that they could not use Kaylee's phone to, pinpoint time of death, time of crime, how they were, when they said that, hey, we took the survivors' phones and their statements to, how could you not be focused in on the fact that there was no more outgoing calls after 252, things like that. Like, and the only thing that makes sense to me is that they didn't have their phone. That could it be that Kaylee's phone was missing, and would that be okay? This was targeted. Like, they took her phone and they didn't take anybody else's, and people got caught.
What time? What time was what time was LinkedIn entered? Deleted. Oh, they didn't release that.
I'd have to go back and check for specifics on that. I just know that in everything that we've searched, there's been no search warrants for not just her LinkedIn, but anybody's LinkedIn. Nobody's LinkedIn, and which I think is interesting.
Really?
Yeah. Just because when you go
What?
for like here, you could see that they went for the where is it? They went for the Department of Labor. Once they went for the Department of Labor, where is it? Yeah, right here. Idaho Department of Labor. So if you're going to go for the Idaho Department of Labor to get a search warrant, why aren't you doing LinkedIn with that? I mean, LinkedIn is all about where you've worked. So
yeah, I have one. Everybody I know has one.
Yeah, I mean, and she had one, and then here her sister's making a big fuss, and they call you. They call you to say like, so think about this. You're one of the detectives, and a family member calls and say, hey, my sister had a LinkedIn account. It's not there anymore, and it was just there because I was searching all of her socials before all of this happened. And here's this picture, and here's this. Wouldn't you immediately be like, okay, well, let's go get a search warrant for that? But here, law enforcement did not do that. And I mean,
okay,
I don't know.
Now
why
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, so
I was confused about that. I thought they did ask for a restraining order or a restraining. Sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry, it was a long weekend. Now my question is, like why wouldn't they pull a search warrant for all of them and then look and see what time her LinkedIn was deleted and then pull the logistics from towers and stuff and see like, okay, what IPS address was this? Was it from the phone itself, or was it from a laptop? Was it, you know what I mean? Like if they can do all of that in the Watts case, like, or what's the other case? The Daybell, like tell you exactly where you were holding your phone, how many steps you took, or the Murdaugh. Yes. Yeah. Why is it that they're not doing that with this case? That's it blows my mind. I mean, the technology's there.
I think that's going to come. 100 by the defense for sure. You're going to be pinpointing stuff like that down, especially with the survivors. You're going to pinpoint all that down to what they did after the fact of like, what was their phone doing? What were they doing with their phone from 4 or 5, a.m. until they called the police? How many times did their phone switch from right side to left side to they walked, 13 steps or whatever it may be. When I look back at these search warrants, everybody wants to talk about these search warrants and they want to see, oh my God, there's this other number. I'm over here like, fuck that other number right now. Like, I'm still on this kick of like, Kaylee did that internship in June of 2022. She was already working for Extreme Networks in June. She had a laptop. That she wasn't going to do an internship in Austin. That's just not what was happening. The internship was in June. That's what the company said. The company put that out there. So I'm going to trust what the company is saying. I think that maybe she was starting her job, but that doesn't make any sense. Kaylee's saying that she just needs a place for 3 or 4 months. So maybe what she only needed the place for 3 or 4 months was because she was waiting for Jordan, her one of her girlfriends, to come out there and live in the summer, come June. So she only needed a place for 3 or 4 months before she would then get this apartment with Jordan or wherever they were going to live. But the thing that I thought was interesting is that Jordan seemed like she didn't even know that Kaylee was going in February from her interview.
Really?
Yeah. So there's
so where did so like where did that information come from about Kaylee saying that she was going to go down earlier and get a place? Who told you that?
Well, that's what her family said. Her family said that she was, going.
Oh, her family.
Yeah,
okay.
It was that her family said that she was going to do, but it was for the internship. It was that she was beginning her internship. She was going to do a month in Europe, which I would love to know who the people were that were going on that trip.
Yeah,
I know that
Spain,
I saw her,
right?
she was going to Barcelona. She was flying to Barcelona, and that she was going to be there for January. But then she started this it was supposed to be like this internship in February, and then she started her job. But with everything that I looked at with Extreme Networks, you can work remotely. So you can work from, anywhere. You work remotely. So there's just a lot behind all of that. All the other kids seem to like still be doing like the college lifestyle, whereas Kaylee was the one that was, living at home. After COVID hit, she was out in Post Falls, out in Coeur d'Alene a lot, working at coffee places over there. And I'm gonna tell you who you meet at coffee places. You meet a lot of businessmen. You meet a lot of people that would come in, early in the mornings. Like those are your businessmen and women. So curious to know who Kaylee met by being at that, a couple of those coffee places. These were not the coffee places down in Moscow. And one of Kaylee's addresses in 2021 was, like I said, the Coeur d'Alene address where her sister lived in a duplex. And the other part of that was, I'd want to be around my niece and nephew as well. So she got to be around her niece and nephew a lot, if that was the case. And so a lot of people, especially after COVID, like everybody handled that differently. Some people, they were like, oh, screw it. Like me, I was like, I'm going to Florida. Florida has no fucking bans going on, man. They just whatever. So I went to Florida a bunch.
We were in Arizona.
Yeah, everybody was different during that time period. And so, but also you're doing a lot of remote school. Like you're doing your stuff online. You're doing, and I was able to look at a bunch of the pictures, zoom in on things. Kaylee was working a lot on her Blackboard, and that's your online classes are located in your Blackboard. So
that's right.
So yeah, but it was just, you look at Xana, you look at Ethan, you look at, Dylan, Bethany, and then Maddie. But the person that sticks out to me in living like a completely kind of different lifestyle would be Kaylee out of everybody. And then I look at the search warrants. Yeah, I look at the search warrants, and what you see is you see them going and needing more information on Kaylee, and I just questioned, like, was her phone there? Was her phone taken? Is that part of the reason that this would be considered a targeted attack? And we're not going to talk about who the target is, but that they did deem that there was a target. And was that part of the reason? Is because that person's cell phone was the only one missing. And then you want to talk about, if they're talking about burglary, you want to talk about, like I said, the search warrants, and you want to talk about the family, talk about the LinkedIn, and it's no longer there, and that it could have been deleted, that it was deleted after the fact of the murders. And that just points everything to me to say that I don't think that they have her phone, and why the family had to step in and help and provide, telephone records and stuff like that, because they were waiting on, they were gonna have to wait on a bunch of search warrants. So they helped them out here.
Oh yeah, totally.
We're on this plan, so here you go. But I do believe what else would be the, like, if you see 4 people slaughtered, and I thought that, okay, maybe because the other 2 weren't, but that's why it was, it was targeted. But why would you leave witnesses and stuff like that? And when I asked a profiler back in the day, and I asked them about that, would the FBI consider that to be the reason they would label that a targeted attack? And they said no. And if they did, that they're making a mistake. But so something where it's like only one of the person's like cell phones was missing, that would lead somebody to say that they were targeted on that person. They wanted that cell phone, whatever it had in it,
Absolutely.
So,
She had information, or she had contact information,
it's just interesting to me. It's interesting.
My thing is
that they wouldn't follow.
Can't they?
I'd be
Yeah,
upset.
and
I think her sister's upset. I think her sister was really, really pissed. Like
she should be.
I went to them. Why is her LinkedIn deleted? Like you see it in the interviews, and so I see her frustration with that. And it's like, wait a second, what are you guys doing? Like, we gave you all this information. Why aren't you going and trying to get, these things? Why aren't you asking
Yeah,
us
like,
questions
what's your
about
holdup?
this? Yeah, like I just felt like they were
Yeah.
giving them information, and that information was not being utilized.
You know, her sister said something in one of the interviews, and I'm not, unlike you. I don't have an eidetic memory, so I can't remember exactly. You know, when she said it. No, that's a compliment because I think it's rad.
Thank you.
Yeah. She said, why wouldn't they ask the family? You know, like, why wouldn't they ask us more about what my sister would be doing? Or, you know, and I thought to myself, well, why the hell haven't they? I would be interviewing every single person. You know, one of the things, just really quick, one of the things that I used to do on my own accord when I was working in law enforcement, when I would have a new case, I would look to see who they were connected to, their family, who was alive, who was in their life, who lived on their block, who were their neighbors. Yes. And I would fill my file with it. And let me tell you, it saved my rear end many times, not just in court, but in my life for my safety, you know? So I'm curious as to why. Do they think they already have what they need? I think they think that, but are they being led astray? That's what I was wondering, honestly, Lana. Like, I was wondering, is law enforcement just so, is Moscow, let me just not say blanket statements. Is Moscow PD, their law enforcement, are they so comfortable with their investigative skills and with their local FBI's skills or whoever else they had, their assets in place? Are they that confident that they went forward? They're that confident, you know? And that bothers me. That really, that bothers me. I feel like they were hasty in their decision to arrest Brian Koberger so quickly. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he's innocent. I don't know if he's guilty. I don't know. I want to know who did it.
Yeah.
I want to see, I want to see factual evidence that leads me to the suspect.
Yep.
That's what I want to see first.
I want a good jury that's going to, you know, look at everything, and that's really important. So
it is.
But you're awesome. Double take. I'm gonna move on.
Okay, sorry.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
You did it.
Okay, bye. Peace out.
You rocked it, girl.
All right.
All right. What is up, me? Go ahead.
Hey, I was calling. I agree with you. I don't think
that. Oh, it's choppy.
Better work for me. Either.
What is up to Richard?
Whoa, am I here?
You're here. Welcome to Shoot the Transparency. I'm gonna go back to
what? Are you telling me I'm with Lana?
You are. The Richard cheers.
It's not Cincinnati, but we can make it now. Okay.
All right. What do you think, the Richard?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Drop down and get your eagle on, Richard. What do you think?
Okay, so we've got a lot of, I've got a lot of tentacles going on, as you do, though I'm more familiar with my tentacles. And I'm thinking there is so much to this, and it's so silly. It should not have been this complicated. It should not have been this complicated.
It's usually not when you know, I just think that if you rush the gun with something, you know what I mean? Like, they said that they have their man, and I would just, I think it's really obvious that they wanted to arrest somebody before school started.
Okay, so they got what, $3 million 3 or 4 months before for DNA testing. So why the hell did they send it to Texas, where Kaylee was about to go?
No idea. I mean,
Hey, Bella. Hey, baby.
The Richard says, hello, Bella, and he's flying through the sky.
Yeah. No, because I definitely have my cat. My cat, where is he? Well, I don't know where he is. I know if he was to jump up here, you would definitely know, and you could probably pet him as well. So, no, when it comes to this scenario, there are so many different things, and I've been watching so many different channels. You know, I'm not from true crime.
No, you're not.
Even though I do collect books and videos on mass murders and this and that, it was a past that I never pursued. Let me say,
Okay.
I'm in the film community, and also I'm also in like puzzles, games, game designs. We design board games, and
Okay.
I'm listening to individuals who are coming up with things that actually kind of fit here. Because if you were to kind of out or print it out and then cut out certain things and then rearrange them, I think that's how you're going to solve crime.
I think you solve crimes with evidence. It's just, call me old school, but you just solve crimes with evidence, and I just think it's hilarious that former law enforcement FBI agents are talking about that his car is going to be a treasure with all this forensic, and his car comes back and there's no forensics. I mean, it's just bad.
Yeah, he's got nothing. They got nothing.
Yeah. So I just like how anybody's out there saying he's so guilty. Oh, because of his DNA. Like, that's what I think is just so messed up with mainstream media right now, is that you don't have, like, we don't, if you know more than us, I want to know how you know that when there's a gag order. Okay. Like, you don't.
Okay, so
don't
at the exact same time, everyone, the opposing,
you got friends in law enforcement that are telling and feeding you shit, and that's just as bad. That's what I think. And I agree. And I think that's a bunch of crap.
There's a lot of individuals, including former FBI, whatever. Police.
They're not supposed to be talking about their cases with other people.
I know. I'm just saying, what are we here for if not to speculate? Because we only have certain facts. We only have certain facts, and it's for us to brainstorm. It's
okay. So Richard, what do you think? Do you think that they have Kaylee's phone?
Who?
Law enforcement.
Yeah.
Do you think that Kaylee's phone was present there?
It kind of makes sense.
That her phone was there or was not there? I couldn't hear you.
Okay.
Like, do you think that?
Why would she not have her phone there if she was messaging 17 times or whatever?
No, I understand that. I'm saying after the murder, after she was. Do you think that her phone was taken from the?
Yes.
Like, do you think that it was taken from the house by the perpetrator or perpetrators?
I think it would make sense that the individual. I don't know. This is speculation, obviously. No, who the fuck? Though. They.
You know what, Richard? I'm gonna have to place you in a 5-minute timeout. We're gonna have to come back to you once you decide on if you think that house had Kaylee's phone or not.
No, I think they had the phone, though. If somebody took it, if the criminal took it, then why are they spending so much time on Koberger's phone and not hers?
Well, that's what I was showing people here with all the search warrants. They were all about, if you look at everything early on, it was going for things that, it was Kaylee's Reddit, okay? Nobody else's Reddit, even just attempt to see if they had a Reddit. Then you're going with Kaylee's Tinder account down here. Where is it? The first Tinder account was only Kaylee's, okay? And is it because they actually had to use her phone to get the Reddit. That's how we found out about that. They had to use her phone number to get the Tinder account, and they're not getting the other ones until way later. And is it because they did not have Kaylee's phone and they had the other ones?
You're asking, did the police have her phone from the start? I mean, did somebody give the phone to the police?
I'm saying that, do you believe that all 4 victims' cell phones were like by their bodies?
Oh, good God, no. No way. No. Because it's not logical. Even when you pass out drunk, you find your phone across the room.
Oh my
Period.
God, Richard. Well, I have a question, because if the door was being blocked by Ethan's body, right? How could possibly that happen unless Ethan was alive to get himself to that position to be able to block the door like that?
No, you're exactly right.
You know?
He was doing the best he could. I had a mini stroke, and I did not have my phone, and I had to crawl. I
Okay.
lost most of my body. I had to crawl with my one.
Hey there, me. Let's try this again. Richard, hold on 1 second there.
Hey,
Okay, let's see. Is that better?
okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, it was cutting out before.
Fantastic. Okay, I don't think that the phone was recovered. And the reason I absolutely agree with you on that is I was rewatching Grub Truck video,
Mhm.
and there was a point where there was 3 people walking from way in the back. It was a white sweatshirt, black strap across it. And when she noticed them, her body language completely changed. She came in close to Maddie. She was whispering to her like she was saying something was going on. And then she did what I do when I'm trying not to let someone know that I'm taking a picture. I might take a picture of my, like a selfie of me and who I'm with, but I'm really taking a picture of who's behind me. And that is what it looked like to me when she was right before they left. And once they left and they went around the corner, the gentleman that had the sweater on that we saw over at the other apartment complex, all blurred out,
Okay.
that group of people were standing close enough to the microphone where it sounded like someone said that she saw us. I can't remember if it was she saw us. It was something very similar to that. I cut it out and listened to it a million times. And with her dad saying, you know, she was like a true crime junkie and all of these things, and that she was very, she noticed things, and, you know, she would have done certain things. I feel like she would have been perhaps the kind of person to, if she noticed something, to be documenting it in her phone. And and a criminal would think most people don't have it immediately go to the cloud, especially if you're sharing a plan with your family and you're you're a younger person. You might not want your photographs immediately to go to the cloud because that could be very embarrassing. And so a criminal who felt like maybe she knew what was coming, that she could have put some documentation in her phone excuse me, that they were trying to ensure she didn't have. Another thing is if you're hearing something downstairs and then somebody's coming in the room, perhaps she would take a photo. Perhaps she would try and get something, um, that little tip so her sister or her family could find out who did it. And I've believed that from the beginning. The Whether it was the person who actually did it or the law enforcement officers who were present at the scene. There's a lot of things about all of that body camera footage that you've talked about a million times. I saw right away where the behavior was not appropriate with the girls, kind of bullying, in my opinion. Um, it seemed really off with the law enforcement officers, just with the little bit of contact that we did see. Um, Seems completely reasonable her phone was gone because she probably was the most um, in tune person, more mature in noticing those things and wanting to pass along that information as best as she could, which would be her phone. So there's my thoughts.
Yeah. So putting things in there. Yep. Yeah, that's what you're saying. Like, so her phone would be super valuable if she was
Correct.
putting notes in. Yeah, I see a girl at a grub truck having like a fun time, like clearly texting with somebody nonstop. She was texting with somebody, whether it was, Snapchat, whether it was DMs, text messaging. She was doing, obviously she wasn't on her phone physically, but trying to have a good time. And I know that Kaylee was there was personal that she had conflict. There was personal conflict as to why she wasn't going to go there. But then she decided, okay, screw it. I'm going to go show, Maddie, my car and, go there. And that she was going to stay until, Tuesday. Again, kind of weird for me. If you have your classes and if you're working, just things like that. Just, why aren't you coming back on like on Monday or even like Sunday night? People have, classes the next day, then they're, but I think Kaylee's phone, or anybody's phone for that matter, if one of them did not have their phone there and it was missing, to me, if I was law enforcement, I would make definitely note of that. And I would be saying something in terms of, okay, why is this one person's phone missing, but none of the other ones are missing? Like that would scream to me target. That would scream to me that if you want something, like, what's your target? What are you hitting? What do you get? What are you trying to get?
Exactly.
And what were they trying to get? And it's like, were they expecting Kaylee and Maddie to even be in the same room? Was Kaylee, only supposed to be the intended target, but because she was in the other person's bed, that therefore that happened. Again, then downstairs, I don't understand why anybody that would case that place, okay, you would go out the balcony of the top room. Why would you ever come back down through a house if you didn't have to, if you could go out the top balcony? And because it's not a high jump from the left side, it's like right there. And if that's where you were parked, I wouldn't want to go back down through and possibly run into somebody. That just doesn't make any sense.
There's a lot of it that doesn't make sense. But once I get off here, I will go back and like tag you on Twitter or something with the clip of the video. I mean, I was looking at so many different people the different times I watched it, but I just decided the other day, let me go back because I remember feeling that kind of hesitation with Kaylee, especially, like she saw somebody or something that appeared to make her nervous. I'll tag you in that. It was a pleasure talking.
It was. Thank you so much for coming up here. Me, give it up, me. And we'll give you a little whistle. Good sign off there. Me loved it. I think she brought up some really good points there. All right. Again, the question of the hour has been, have you hit your thumbs up or your thumbs down? I mean, you're here, 1,500 people. Make yourself known. If you like it, share it, talk about it. But the big question, guys, is do you think that Kaylee's cell phone was there at the scene? Do you think that it was missing? Again, I took the totality of everything to this point, and the Gonsalves is needing to help so much and give phone records up and things like that. It was because like search warrants were going to take, a lot longer. We helped them do that. We gave them information. We share passwords. You don't have to do anything like that. If the physical phone is there and you do a forensic download and you Cellbrite dump everything, you're going to get that all like immediately. So why would the Gonsalves have to give them anything? They're just going to take Kaylee's phone and Cellbrite dump it and literally be able to get into Kaylee's phone, unless it was somehow, if the phone was encrypted. I mean, I don't know. either the phone wasn't there or it was encrypted, but why would the family need help in any capacity if the phone was there and you're just going to celebrate, dump it, and forensically download it? Like, that's all you do. So, but Mr. and Mrs. Gonzalez, like they said it, you know, they came out and said it early in the beginning that, like, you know, we're the ones that help the police. We're the ones that help law enforcement get things. You know, so why would they need help getting anything? Like, you have somebody's cell phone, you know, boom, you have it. But if you don't have it, then that's problematic. They tell you, like, if you want to slow an investigation down, you take somebody's wallet because their ID's in it, so they can't make, you know, an immediate identification of the person, and you take their cell phone, okay, and you destroy those things immediately. All right, especially if you've had any contact with this person. All right, and you know, Kaylee's LinkedIn. I mean, how could it be deleted after she was murdered? If the family didn't do it right, well, somebody that could get into the cell phone after, if they knew the password right, because they get it out of somebody. What's the password? What's the passcode of the phone? And you just go to that app. You can delete it. You can delete the app if you're able to get into someone's cell phone. Is there a reason that they're not using Kaylee or Maddie's or anybody's cell phones to talk about time of crime and time of death? And they're relying strictly on the roommates, the surviving roommates. But I don't know why the family would have to be involved to the point that they think that without their help, that they would have waited a long time to get information. And that screams to me that there's a chance that Kaylee's cell phone was not there. And it also makes sense when you want to talk about targeted and who was the target and why law enforcement would believe that there was a target early on. Because I know if I was law enforcement and there was somebody out of 4 people that were murdered and somebody's phone was missing, there was only one person's phone missing, I would be like, holy shit, well, clearly somebody wanted that phone. They left all the other ones, but not that one. Let's see if we can get Amy back here. Amy, are you there? Is it working?
Hi, Lana. Can you hear me?
I can. Hi, Amy. Welcome.
Hi. Boom. Lana with the boom. Okay, so I really enjoy watching you.
Thank
and you dig so deep, and you're very thorough. I mean, I've been watching this case from when it first started, and I've had to get rid of a lot of people. There's a lot of junk out there, but I watch you faithfully. And whenever you bring somebody up or somebody's name comes up, I go in and I look at who they are and what, how they're related. I mean, I'm really vested into this case.
Yeah.
But anyway, for my own personal reasons. But my feeling is, I believe the phone may have been there, but I believe it was empty. I believe whatever information was in it was gone. And I believe her laptop, whatever other equipment she had, was also erased. And I just
I think that makes sense to me. I think that there's something up with her cell phone,
Yes. I believe she, as people have pointed out, and as we see, she lived a different kind of lifestyle. She's a very attractive girl who knows what she got into. She met a lot of different people. I don't want to say anything negative about her, but she had contacts. I mean, look at where she was going, and then going to travel supposedly. And some of the things that you've discovered just about the house alone, who owned it, and all that kind of stuff. I mean, you're talking about some major corruption.
Oh, there's a lot of stuff going on.
Right. I mean, and all the way up.
It has nothing to do with this case. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing to do with this case. There's a lot of skeletons in Moscow's closet, period, I think. And I think this case is just putting a like a highlighter, I guess you could say, over like, you know, because you have like all these web sleuths that are looking into the state and into the area, you know, period.
Right. But I'm just wondering if somehow she got connected to somebody that was connected to somebody else. You know what I'm saying? And maybe had information that she shouldn't have had.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean,
And,
absolutely. I think that that's definitely possible.
and I don't know. I just, you know, I think about it, and I mean, it's just horrible. And from what I've heard is that she got it really pretty bad.
Yeah, I'm not sure about all of that. I know that came out like, you know, 3 weeks afterwards, just talking about, well, different type of wounds and stuff like that. But
But that was by her father. Yeah, by her father, by Steve.
Yeah, there was just no really, like, you know, but I don't know how he would know that based on, like, I don't see you calling up the other parents and saying, can I know about your kid's autopsy? I mean, I just don't see that.
Right.
And I don't see that. I mean, it would be super unprofessional for anybody to be disclosing that, you know.
Can I ask you,
it's interesting.
Do you know if any of the families were able to go down and identify their children?
You know, that's never been talked about in terms of like anybody had to do that. I know I talked about it on my channel to show that what seemed like Kaylee and Maddie, like based on Payne's PCA, he just labels them. This is Kaylee and Maddie, but like with Xana and Ethan, he had to say, you know, we identified, you know, Xana based off of her ID that was, you know, found on the blah blah blah. He was saying how he was, you know, later identified as this person, but in the PCA he just comes right out and says like that was Maddie and Kaylee in that bedroom, and I think that that's interesting just because anybody could have been in that bedroom with Maddie. One of her other friends, you know, could have been in that bedroom, especially since Kaylee does not live there anymore. Yes, and her room was the other room. So there is questions to that, but if like you have a parent that's calling, like if they were and saying things like, "Hey, my kid was there, my kid lived there," you know, that she had a bedroom upstairs, like she was, you know, in the other bedroom she was a dog, you know, well, why don't you call, you know, how could the police say like they don't know what these people look like, so they wouldn't be able to say that was your kid. So that's just what's all, and I talked about that in a different episode, and I broke that all down. That was all very sus to me. You would need people to come down. You know, I just said sus because my son has been saying sus, and I'm like, where are you getting this from? He's like, Mom, that's just so sus. I'm like, you're just so 7. How do you even know about that word?
How cute.
Yeah. But I appreciate you coming up here, Amy D.
Thank you. There was something
hearing from people that always pop in.
Oh, there was one other thing I wanted to mention is I too have noticed as I've gone through and I've looked at these names and then I've gone back again and they're erased. I mean, early on with Kopaka, I mean, I did see some stuff on Kopaka and then gone. And then this Jordan person, I think I even sent this to you and it said, you know, people also viewed these people and it had a list of names and Kopaka's name was on there. And then the next day it was gone. And it was right after I messaged that to you.
Oh, about yeah.
On the LinkedIn. And it's just anything about anybody or something happens to somebody, they are erased.
Mm-hmm.
So I just, you know, like I said, the corruption and what's going on in that town, and this is not okay. I mean, and I don't know if Brian is guilty or not, but what's happening there is just, it's insane. I mean, it's really insane.
Yeah. I think, I think there's just, There's just so many questions and just not enough answers. You know what I mean?
Exactly. You're right. I mean, there are way more
It's all
questions, and
sus, Amy. This is just all complete sus.
we're just all sus, right?
Yeah,
It's sketch. It's
to
sketch
hell-
and it's sus.
To hell with the cesspool. We got a cesspool.
Very true.
Well, you rock, Amy. I'm so glad that you're part of the TNT family. Thank you for coming up here.
Thank you for having me.
You are not sus. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Len. I love you. Take care.
Okay. Love you, girl.
Bye.
Welcome to, there we go. We got Dr. Latina.
Buenas tardes. How are you?
You know, just living the dream over here, girl.
Okay, well, this is a brief. I'm in the middle of cooking and I'm peeling.
What are you making me?
I am making boneless organic chicken thighs with adobo, and we're having high protein pasta.
Oh,
and
nice.
Fresh seedless cucumbers and fresh tomatoes.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so we're just kind of doing a quick little thing here. So I have only a few minutes, though, because I'm not much of a cook, and I could destroy the entire meal in a skinny New York minute. So I want to say something.
What you got for me? What do you think? Like, do they have Kaylee's phone, or do they not?
This is what I think. I want to go. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
I love going back to first impressions.
Mm-hmm.
Apariencias means first impressions in Spanish. And so when I listen to a case, I always listen, and I try to listen very closely to the first statements that come out.
Yeah.
So this is related to the phone. Now listen. Do you recall the initial? It had to be one of the first or second interviews with Kaylee's mama, dad, and the sister. And I feel that it was the sister, but I could be wrong. Here I am. I listened closely, but I can't tell you who said it. What a great witness I would make. But listen, let's just say it was in La Familia Gonzalez. One of the females said. I remember her talking about, she came home at 1:56. My understanding was that the sister said, we know she went out to walk a dog, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Then she said, or the mother said, that they had contacted law enforcement and told them, since we all share, I just jumped on, by the way, I'm late for the party, so maybe y'all already did this, had a statement about this. When she said, we share passwords, we do basically like the typical Portuguese, Latin family, whatever. We were in one big family. She said, we offered up, and I would love you to go back and review this. We offered up to the police everything that we had that would help them. And I distinctly remember that the parents, the family was like kind of upset because the police initially declined and said, no, we can't take it from you because, we have to go through the proper channels and get a search warrant because basically, and I get that, there's no chain of custody from the family. But I remember the family saying, well, we get that you have to go through this chain of custody and get an official warrant, but time is of the essence here. Don't you want what we have? And that to me was like the starting point, the point of reference for me, that there was information the family had that they wanted to proffer to law enforcement. And law enforcement kind of begged off and essentially just kind of said, we'll wait and do it our way. And I mean, can you imagine you are a parent. If I knew that I had my kids' info, time is of the essence. The police, I don't know. I don't understand.
This is what it leads me to believe.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry to be so long-winded.
No, because I agree with you. But that's what tells me that this means that you would be able to forensically download a cell phone and have everything instantly. Okay? Pretty much instantly, within a couple hours, depending on how long it took. Okay? Yep. We've all seen the Chris Watts interview. They took his phone to go forensically download it. Okay? So no difference there with, okay, you have somebody's cell phone, you can download it. For her parents to need to say that to law enforcement, okay, this tells me, all right, that these parents, her parents, must be under the impression that they don't have the phone.
Exactly.
Because you don't need to give this up because it's all going to be in this phone.
Okay, say that again.
Okay.
No.
So her parents wouldn't need to be giving any information like that. Like, if
they had her phone, if the police had her phone.
Yes,
that's what I thought from the beginning. And the fact that they said they had to get a search warrant, whether the search warrant takes 1 hour, 3 hours, or goes to Quantico and takes 6 weeks to come back, regardless, what that said to me in my little puny brain was, why don't they should be able to say to the parents, here's the phone, why don't you log in for us, let's see what we can find. You see?
Well, but you would need, like, all you would do though is you would just take the phone and be able to, like, unless are they saying that we couldn't get into it because it was password encrypted and all crazy crap like that? I mean, there'd have to be something that prevented that in some type of nature, and I just don't see that happening as long as
sorry to interrupt, but what I'm saying to you, based on what these folks and the sisters said initially, what I'm saying to you is that they basically were like, we don't even need that. We can get in and see what she's texting, what she's. They kind of shared accounts, so
yeah, they wouldn't need any. I mean, if the victims' phones are there, guys, they don't need search warrants to download these phones.
Exactly. So right there on day one,
and that's why you don't see any of it. That's why you don't see things like, you see a search warrant for the iCloud. Okay, you see a search warrant for iCloud. You don't see a search warrant to forensically download, a phone of a victim. Okay, that's just not how it goes.
And
if there's phones there, you download them of a victim. Unless the only thing I could think of is that I don't even think that would matter.
But even if it were encrypted, Lana, the sister basically said that basically the sister offered up on the interview. That's why I kind of want you to go back with a better ear than mine. That they didn't even need, the sister was like, we don't even need to have her phone. We can just offer this up to you. We can get it. We all share in the iCloud or whatever. And the police declined, claiming they needed to get a search warrant, which right there.
Well, we don't know that the police declined. That's the part that I don't necessarily agree with. I don't see anywhere where the police declined that.
Go back to the interview. Maybe my memory is not serving me. That's why I'll go back, because you have, I'm sure you have better fish to fry, or bigger fish, or whatever the expression is, as I'm making poultry. No, I think that I want to go back and listen, because my understanding was that they offered up the iCloud information to law enforcement, and law enforcement declined. That's what they said. Does anybody in the chat, I can't read the chat because I don't have my glasses on. Anybody else agree with me, or am I just like foolish? Anybody? Nobody agrees with me. Is anybody agreeing that they recall that, or no?
See, the drunk turkey saying that that's not true. You would need warrant in this situation, even if you had the password and permission. Well, see, I don't see them getting search warrants to forensically download Xana's phone. We haven't seen that. Ethan's phone, Maddie's phone, or to do forensically download. There's no search warrant for any of those phones to forensically download them doing a cell write down. So
all right, let me ask Drunk Turkey this. I was asking, does he or she, does anybody in the chat or Mr. Daniel remember them saying that they said that they could just give the info to the police? I get it, Daniel, that the police, of course, are going to need to go through the proper channels, chain of custody. I totally get all of that. But when time is of the essence, to me, and now you're law enforcement, so you can give me your thing. But like with HIPAA, if time is of the essence, we know there are loopholes in HIPAA law as a physician where I'm allowed to break.
Hold on one second, Daniel. They did not get they didn't get warrants to get people's DNA that were just coughing up the DNA. People that were coughing up their DNA, people that were coughing up their phones at the crime scene, and people that they would then interview, they were just coughing them up. So they didn't get search warrants for any of those. I disagree.
But
then you wouldn't need a search warrant if someone's going to give you something.
But then again, if somebody's deceased, I can understand law enforcement would say, well, you can't you cannot, as a parent, offer up this info because she can't speak on her own behalf. But then, of course, I would back at the law enforcement and say, well, if her account, like I still pay my kids' account. I mean, they pay me back, but it's under my name, then it's my account too.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's very simple thought process for me. It's if you have Kaylee's LinkedIn that was deleted, you have these early warrants that are just focused on Kaylee's stuff. Kaylee's Reddit, okay? They don't get anybody else's Reddit but Kaylee's. They get Kaylee's first, her Tinder, in which they use her phone number to get her Tinder stuff with a search warrant, versus like just downloading it through a forensic download of the phone. And all these other stuff started happening later, but Kaylee's stuff was sought after first. And it's my opinion and belief it's because the cell phone was not there to do the forensic dump. And that's why her parents were more involved in terms of like to try to give that up, to try to help with that, with the phone records, knowing what time the last calls were, was because she was on that phone plan. So you could look up your phone plan because she's on your account. And so then you could like cough up the immediate stuff of here, this is, instead of just waiting for the search warrant to come in, here, we're going to give you the phone records that show these are the text message, like this is Kaylee's account, and here you go.
Okay, so I'm going to go back into chat so that I don't irritate people with all my long-windedness, but I will also go back to, I'm going to find that initial blurb in that interview and send maybe a clip or something to you, because I'm very curious, because I really sensed from the beginning that there was an issue with the phone.
It is, and it's all been centered around Kaylee stuff. You don't hear this about Maddie's. You don't hear this about Ethan's. You don't hear this about Xana's. It's all around, Kaylee's.
Yep. All right, folks. I'm sorry to cut you off.
You go back to cooking it up.
I'm cooking. I appreciate everybody in chat for allowing me to give my opinion, and thank you, and have a nice evening.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
All right, Little Bit, you're up. What's up? What's up?
Yay! Oh my God, let me turn this off.
Okay.
My mic. Okay. Now that everybody knows what I look like, they're going to come find me. Hey, so Bella, just real quick, that Bella that comes on, is that the Bella?
What do you mean?
Your friend Bella that comes on with you. I saw. Oh, no wonder why everyone's saying hi to her. She's so sweet. Okay. So I didn't know her full username.
Oh, yes.
Okay. So, now,
what do you think? Who has the phone?
The perps. That's what I think. I think either the perps. Now, this is real random. I mean, literally, it just popped in my head. And I don't think that Kaylee would have had time for this at all. But if she had any suspicion, like right prior to anything, I don't know if maybe she could have maybe hid her phone somewhere, or hurry and cleared it or whatever. But that just popped in my head literally a second ago. But I think the perps really do have them.
Yeah.
Or have it.
I just think that, I just go back to the totality of everything. We're just going to use Moscow's words there. The totality of all of this. It's targeted. They believed it early on that it was targeted. What led them to believe that it was targeted? Well, if there's 4 victims there and there's only 3 cell phones and 1 cell phone's missing, okay, and then that person's LinkedIn all of a sudden then gets deleted, which if you had the phone of somebody's, and you knew the password of something because you got it beforehand, or if you knew them that well, you could then go in, hit the app, delete the account, with the password and all that. At the end of the day, that would tell me, though, that something was targeted early on if I was law enforcement. If there was 1 phone missing out of the 4 victims and the other phones were there.
Yeah, and Kaylee's mom did say in the interview that she specifically said she called Kaylee's phone. It went straight to voicemail. She called Maddie's phone and it rang, and then, several times then went. So Kaylee's phone was already turned off, when they started calling it.
Yeah, and I always believe that Kaylee's phone possibly had died, or the person shut it off. If they did take it, shut it off so that it would not ping and things like that.
And then Somebody did ask, I noticed in chat, and I don't know. I mean, I guess a lot of people have LinkedIn, but somebody was wanting to know, like, why would the LinkedIn account, be such a big deal? But, I'm sure you probably have one too, but in your LinkedIn account, you have places that you can have, like, you can put information and notes and stuff. So she could have had, privy information within her LinkedIn account. So that was just, I didn't know. I just saw that question in there. So I just thought I would throw that out there too, real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just curious today on everybody's thought process on, if you go back to the beginning with these search warrants and, they had to get things amended. Then now they want new dates. They want to extend it out to June. Just there's a bunch of talk around certain things to do with like these phones and the information that they were seeking. Okay. And why go all the way back now to June 23rd? I mean, I have my reasons that I believe, but I go back, and when I was doing this, I was like, you know what? Let's really talk about early on, with all the things that the Gonzalez's were saying, that hey, we helped give them things because they couldn't get to it until a search warrant, and that was going to take a long time. But we can just turn over whatever we want, and if they want to use it, so be it. You know what I mean? That's what they were trying to say, that they wanted to help. But why would you need to do that if you have the cell phone? If you have somebody's cell phone, you don't need that.
The only other thing I can think of. Yeah. Well, that's true. But it has to be able to be open.
And people are out there saying that, well, the Gonzalez's talk a lot. We would have known if they didn't have Kaylee's phone. I think the Gonzalez's were pretty much saying it without saying it,
Yeah. No, and that's what they do. And they're very well, they do that very good. I mean, Jesus. But also too, and going back to what you were saying on whether you dump a phone, whether you get a search warrant on a phone, whatever it is, even if, let's just say they did have it, even the FBI says, they have and have to put the phone through a code system if her phone is locked, and then they run it. That could take, even just say it takes 1 hour or it takes a day. If the family has the info right then and there, then yes, they're going to go to them. So regardless, but I still don't think they had. I don't think they had the phone. I think the perpetrators took the phone for sure. Mm-hmm. For sure.
Well, it just, and then also though, I mean, it could be this thing is like, could it be Kaylee and Maddie's phones were taken? Because you're going to talk about like phones as in plural. Like, Miss Potts has gone on and on about, listen, they were talking about phones. It was plural. Or did Kaylee have, rather than saying Maddie, did Kaylee have two phones? I mean, Kevin Gates has two phones.
I have two phones. So that would make sense for me.
Phones.
I mean, I am kind of balling.
One for the plug.
Right?
Kevin Gates, baby. I got two phones. Well, a little bit, we appreciate you. We appreciate you.
Hey,
You've been around
Lana,
for a while.
I know, but I want to hear you laugh all the time. Like, I'm just going to start recording it because it is the best thing.
Oh, thank you.
So, if anything, I mean, you do great work, and I've been watching you since like way back with you, AD. I mean, long time ago.
I know I've seen this name a long time ago.
But I've been stalking you.
Oh, girl, look out! That's a lot.
I'm just kidding.
That's a lot of work.
No, it's easy. I'm good at it now.
Oh, perfect. You gotta teach me.
No. All right. Well, I tell you what. When it's over, call me.
Okay, girl.
I'm just kidding. Making it seem like I'm somebody. Call me Lana. All right. I'll get off because I know everybody's gonna go like, she's so stupid. All right, girl. I love you.
A little bit. Much love to Little Bit. Little Bit's been around. Been around for the circus. Been around. Hey, what's good here? Higher ground. You know what? I love the song. Give me a higher love.
Do.
Yeah, I love that song.
I love your songs. You break into song all the time and we giggle, but we don't have you laugh. So
I just whip out something new all the time though.
Yeah, I love that song. But actually I've been Higher Ground for so long, since social media started.
I was gonna say, like, I know this has been around for, I mean, I see you around.
Yeah, I'm Little Bit. I'm a stalker. I'm going to do this, Lena, as clearly as I can because God help me, girl, I'm not clear. I'm ADHD, an
Well, you
empath.
know what? Who is it nowadays? I swear it's
Oh, you are?
government. The government
Yeah,
made us
yeah,
that way.
yeah. It's something we eat, or who knows. I've lived a conspiracy, or what humans call a conspiracy. I just call it a blessing. So I just laugh, and I'm pretty discerning on all this. And I feel like I have held this in for about 3 months now, and I'm going to lay it out because the phones play a huge part, sweetie.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, Go back to the beginning. We've all said that. And you've brought a biggie today, a bomb. This is a bomb.
I think so.
Drip will love that one. Well, yeah. Uh, uh, okay, Len, here's go. Kaylee had 2 phones. I'm just going to state it as fact, but remember, guys, this is that rabbit hole, diving into the mirror, Alice in Wonderland deal. Kaylee had 2 phones. About 3 months ago, I kept getting downloads over and over, and the word was narc. Well, I'm from the 70s, so we don't say confidential, informant or CI. We go narc. We could smell them in the 70s. They were so obvious. They tried so hard to be us, and they were always very attractive, so they were, very acceptable. But they were older than us, and they just showed up out of nowhere. It was just odd. Well, they've gotten smarter now. If you go back, Fry kept saying this is dangerous for us, and people said, "What the F? How can it be dangerous to the cops? Like, give me a break, Ellie." Or is it FBI?
How could any of this be dangerous?
Oh, I got it, honey. I think I've got it.
Okay.
It took a little bit, I get downloads. So I just jot them on a thing, and some of the guys on other shows know some things, my history. But here goes. Go 2 phones. They're gone. They're absolutely gone.
Yeah.
Kaylee went home for a reason. She was scared shitless. I believe she probably talked to Olivia more than anybody else. I think she dropped little hints to mom and dad. And I think the girl got herself in deep. Think about it, Lana. What was her goal, her deepest goal in life she shared with friends? Do you remember what she wanted to do in the future?
She wanted to be a teacher.
No. She said it to her dearest friends over and over, and I've seen it on. She wanted to be an FBI agent. Okay, we all know the girl was a snoop. She was like us. She was a sleuth.
Okay,
but
she's sleuthing it up.
Yep, and we've tried to connect her. I mean, she knows what happened to Caden. She's not stupid. I think she got in deep.
Well, Caden died after her.
Well, okay, I'm sorry. I'm wrong there. You're right. You're right. I hadn't connected that.
I think that she knew maybe stuff that was going on. Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely, honey. Oh, absolutely. I think that she was recruited as a CI, and there's one of 2 reasons. Maddie, who she'd die for, she'd give her right arm for her best friend, was going through a wild stage. We've all been there, where you dance on bars and all. Maddie had really come out in the last few years and really kind of gone radical. And Kaylee, being the mother goose that she was, I think she was looking after her. Maddie may have done something that required working with Ellie. And I could see Kaylee did, which is hard for me to believe. Or she approached somebody, Ellie, maybe Brian, who knows. I think our girl was a confidential informant. And I think that's why she knew all these things. When she's at the grub truck, Latina, you are so right. She froze. Her body language. If you feel energy, she did start taking those false pictures. We've all got parts of it. At first, she was surrounded by CIs.
I mean, I think that somebody did get in trouble, and that's what happened usually over there on those campuses. Like I said, 2016 all over again.
Yes, you're right on. And what Enan said, we've got a task force here.
Yeah.
You don't survive. Eden's not stupid. He's a very bright guy, and he's learned how to survive in a very strange culture. And it's a culture I went to college in. We are a clone of this school just 30 years earlier. So Maddie knew she was in some danger. She decided to go home, go to Europe, lay low a little bit. Maybe I went too far. Let me stop this. Go back to the grub truck. Watch Joe Vidal. Joe is there protecting the girls. He is photographing the kids. He is watching them like a hawk. I don't know when the word went out, what went down, the Adams situation, but that night I've spotted 3 and potentially 4 narcs in the group. But they don't know each other. Some do, some don't. I think the higher up narcs, the old narcs that have survived in Moscow, they know each other. But there's 3 that I've spotted, maybe 4, and they're interacting to some degree on protection. They are using devices. Then suddenly the bad guys show up. I'm going to let you guys go to the grub truck and find your bad guys. That is when our girl stiffens. That's when she freaks the F out. And she does say something to Maddie. And basically, I think it's Maddie, go low. They're here. And I think Maddie knew everything, or Maddie is the reason that our girl got involved with LE, or one of the reasons. Phones disappeared. It was a house targeted hit and a Kaylee targeted hit, in my opinion. And from my downloads, she had become a CI. She was hoping to be FBI in the future. We know she was a sleuth. She took it seriously. The girl's IQ is off the Geiger counter, and she's a workaholic. She's diligent. We also know that Austin is a tech hub. We also know that Lana's connected some dots to Moscow, to the university, and Austin, and her maybe future employment. I think she was dispatching herself, or she was being dispatched to Austin. She was connecting dots, or was maybe she didn't even know all that she was supposed to know. I think she had kind of bolted on LE. Well, everybody's seen the case of the little girl here in Kentucky that fell in love with an FBI agent 25 years ago in Harlan, Kentucky, got herself killed because he went too far. We know that there's different rules on how LE now handles CIs. I think that the reason Moscow would be in trouble, and the reason Steve said we want the opportunity to sue if we need to, is Olivia has said, and you've always said she's bright, Lana, and intuitive. Sometimes being intuitive is, way more valuable than being bright in this field. So I think Olivia, mom and dad, know what she was doing, or they figured out what she was doing, but I think they knew. The phones are gone. Guys that could have worked in Silicon, Seattle, Austin, have wiped those phones to the best of their ability. Now, I don't know about the cloud situation. I don't know how, what you do there. I really don't. I'm not, guys, I'm 60-some years old, so I'm not tech. Like Higher Love is like a yesterday song, Lana, to me, So, but someone wiped them. And I really do believe that's potentially why Steve wants the ability. I think that's why Ellie's in trouble, because some of the stuff she's got on that phone.
Also something like this, guys, if you are at one point working with law enforcement in terms of got a small scale, like, hey, you get popped for something. This happens all over campuses. You get popped for something, and your lawyer will come in and ask you, hey, do you like me and Enam were talking, and he's like, well, my lawyer asked me, it was about like, if you want to tell on somebody, like, do you want to speak on this? Like, hey, do you want to try to cut a deal? You can do this, that, or the other.
Absolutely.
When that happens, it's like this, hey, yeah, we want the bigger guy. We know that you're not making the drugs. You're not supplying the drugs. Like, you think law enforcement they want the bigger guys, right?
They don't want the chicks.
Yeah. They want
the big chickens.
But people, when they get in trouble, it's a way out of getting in trouble, and they get scared. Like, who wants us to ruin like their life? Like, because you sold a baggie of cocaine. I'm just using that as an example. But how something could put people in danger, in my opinion, is if anybody in that house that was murdered, if they were at one point or another what somebody would label an informant or CI, and then they ended up being, so you're not protecting these people. Like, how did they?
Oh, that puts Ellie in a bad place.
Exactly.
That is lawsuit big time.
Well, it's.
If you take a little kid.
This is all opinion based on what she's saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is all about Kaylee's
This is my guy.
This is all about Kaylee's cell phone. This is all about Kaylee's cell phone.
Yeah.
So I want to bring it back to that. And so my question is do you believe that Kaylee's cell phone was there at the scene, or was it not there?
Yes.
Not to say who has it, but just was it
I
there?
believe both phones were there, honey. I believe both phones were sitting there, and that was one of the list, and that was one of their assignments. You get those freaking phones. You get the phone. You get anything. You
And
grab
then-
laptop. You grab anything you can, especially from the Kaylee chick. Grab the rest of them. Those are the ones she's close to. Anyone there? We know the two downstairs. They're not that close. They don't all get along, and they're kind of connected to us. So leave them alone. Leave the kids downstairs alone. Don't touch them. But get anything that Kaylee has. You get Kaylee stuff, and she confides in those other girls. So get anything you think is vital.
So you think that when you say like so they're not there, then the cell phones weren't there when the law enforcement got
Oh
there.
God, no! They were long gone, and they were wiped by midnight in front of Olivia. I saw also the video where she's sitting with her mouth open and the phone goes. Olivia, God bless her. I think she also knows what Kaylee was doing. Kaylee wasn't just true crime in it.
So then you don't believe that the cell phones were there, or that Kaylee's
No,
cell phone was there? Okay,
they've never seen. No, law enforcement, FBI. FBI is more involved than we know. No, forensics. There's no forensics on those phones because they ain't there. Those guys were given the order to grab them. Grab anything, notebooks, anything you think that B took was writing down on us. You grab them. You get everything important, and they did. They got both phones. They may have grabbed a laptop. I don't know. But I think everything that could, I think there was two things. There were the bad guys that potentially could be targeted, because information was in her social media, hidden, maybe in LinkedIn or connections like Austin and former U of I students. But I also think,
Okay, I'm moving on to the next one, baby girl.
go, honey. Yeah.
Right, you're the best.
No, you are.
Thank you. Dude, we've had some amazing callers. I'm just trying to get through here because I want to keep it right under 2 hours and 30 minutes. So, Jennifer, what is good?
Hey, I've been on before. We talked about Richard Allen, which is, oh my God. Man looks like he's been waterboarded every day for the last 6 months, but neither here nor there. Yeah, I think the phones were gone. And I just keep going back to 48 FBI agents on this case. Why?
Yeah.
What would be the reasoning, and why Brian Koberger? Well, he's a criminology student. He just moved there. He's a loner. I mean, he was a perfect patsy. And if anybody was you've got, God, there's so many drugs and trafficking and stuff going on that I'm sorry, they would sacrifice him if they had enough of an operation that they were trying to take down. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I think that I agree with the last lady that Kaylee potentially could have known something, and they all could have gotten killed because because of what they knew by, drug criminals. And they couldn't, Ellie can't come out and say, well, we've got 100 CIs that are, working for us, and this is all part of a big operation to take this stuff down. They're not going to say that. And if I were Ann Taylor, I think I'd be scared for Koberger because I don't think they're going to let him go to trial. I mean, you know what I mean? I don't know.
I don't see how. I think that there's a lot of question marks. I think Ann's doing a hell of a job to try to flush it all out. And
He is.
Looking back at everything, I was able to group some stuff together, and I think that why they would need anything from Kaylee's family in terms of stuff, why they were going for certain records of just like Kaylee with search warrants in the beginning. I think it just leads back to the fact that could they not download Kaylee's phone? Could they not Cellbrite dump it? Could they not get the forensic download due to it either being encrypted or that it was not there? So when you look at it all, it's and that would just lead also to believe like if something being targeted, you got 4 victims,
right,
and you have 3 cell phones,
because if you're a parent and they say targeted and your kid's going to school there and then they come up with Koberger, who's supposedly a stalker, I would be suing them myself. I would be like, my kid was in danger and you said they weren't.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just think that, I can't understand how these ex-FBI are coming out and saying, there's so much evidence. I'm hearing it from other channels. There's so much evidence. Well, then we all should be scared because this could be my kid. It could be your kid. It could be anybody's kid who went to college.
Yeah,
and that's the scary part.
I was waiting. I wanted to see it. I wanted this evidence. I wanted to see all of this evidence, which was this car light up. Like that's all I wanted. I wanted DNA. I wanted blood. Give it in his apartment. Give it in his car, but mainly his car. After talking with Scott Roeder, who is a forensic expert, says, you know how hard it would be to clean that car up. Like there's going to be signs of a cleanup. Okay, so nothing is hitting on this car. And Taylor comes out and basically says that they believe that sheath was placed. It was placed. They use that word. So anybody that wants to read, I encourage you to read. Not even between lines. You don't have to. She says that the sheath was placed next to the body and underneath the body, underneath the, So, and it is indicative of that because this sheath should be same thing. What's on this sheath? How old is this sheath? Why would they think to go to Amazon or all these other places to immediately go and look for something that had just been bought? Why would they think that the person that committed this crime had just bought the knife or just bought it recently? That's, to me, that's interesting versus that it, was that sheath in just such pristine condition that they were like, damn, this looks brand new. Like this has to be it, versus somebody that would have been in, had it for a long time. It's just really, really, I'm a logical person. And to me, you're just, I'd want, obviously everything to do with all the people. I want to know why the 911 call happened. That like, you're just doing a solid investigation and, you should have all this, your work should be there, just like anything, like how you get to somebody, like that's what policing is all about. And you read these documents. Exactly. Yeah. You read these documents and you don't have any of the, you don't know how you got there. You have two other foreign DNA. And you're not doing trees on those. Like who are those people that were also in that house? All this other DNA that was there is accounted for. And they had parties all the time. They had people in and out of that house like a revolving door. Okay.
I know.
It was so you're able to get all these people to toss over their DNA and you're obtaining it and you're comparing it and you're able to like, okay, that's, we have that, blah, blah, blah. But then here you have these two unknowns and they're in this house, but everything else is accounted for. But these two, think about it. That means that these two DNAs that's people that don't go in there often. Why would and
who have never,
why
and they have never admitted. They didn't admit to being there. Yeah.
Did you have anything done recently on the house? Who's that's what you'd be asking, like your roommates or the surviving roommates. Who's been in that house? Who's just because you're trying to see whose DNA that is because you run it through the system, it's not hitting. But where's the trees to find out whose DNA that is? Yeah. Where's the familiar DNA going on with that?
Yeah, it's the craziest thing. And it's, they are still like, I don't know. Do they think Brian Koberger? He's a criminologist, not a magician. He didn't fly to his house and have his car follow him. There's just, I don't see any possible way. And they've taken apart this car. Like, oh my God, I think they probably took it apart down to because they wanted to find something. They, and Anne's going, hey, what are you people thinking? And the DNA too, that was unknown, in my opinion, it sounds like it was found in the crime scene, the way that they say it. Like, it just sounds like it was in the crime scene. And God, that's just so much more logical than this one guy went in there for 8 minutes and killed everybody. Okay. That's not even logical. I can't even see the logic with this. And I'm like, I think Koberger could have been in the wrong place at the wrong time. Maybe he was buying something over there. Who knows? But you know what? He hadn't lived there long and he was an introvert. So he didn't know very many people. He applied for the police job. So there goes your law enforcement connection of, oh God, I hate saying that because it's so bad, but there is so much corruption there that nothing would surprise me. Seriously. I mean, and if it were my kid, and if they don't, if people don't look at this like, hey, this is our justice system. You are given innocent until proven guilty. And there's nothing. I mean, one touch DNA I can't see it. You have to explain how he got out of there. There's no weapon, no nothing.
It would be like this. How do I say it? Okay. What you should have seen from Jennifer Coffindaffer would be this. Holy shit, the car came back and nothing's in it. Right? Wait, what are these two other DNA? Like, that you should be like so shocked, like to be like, wow, okay, yeah, this is a hurdle. Maybe we need to look, like you should be objected to that. No, like subjective. I mean, what's going on there when you would hear that? Because let me tell you something, if it was the opposite way and that car came back and it was lit up like a Christmas tree with all the victims' DNA in there and blood and stuff, then how I would be like, I'd be like, oh, wow. Like, there's all the victims' blood was found in there. There's a signs of even an attempted cleanup, and we could still find this. You would start talking about it like that, and then you would look at things like, you just can't dismiss that. Everyone is just dismissing it, and that's what's sad.
Well, exactly, because there was a woman here in Florida who was, I believe it was, anyway, she was convicted of killing her husband. Now, mind you, she has been like in a wheelchair, disabled. She was locked in a closet. And the reason she was convicted is because there was no DNA found outside the home. So they figured that the crime took place in the home because you couldn't, I mean, seriously, and they said this in court, you couldn't commit this crime and get out of there with nothing being found. And I'm thinking to myself, I was watching this the other day and I thought, oh my God, this is Florida saying that. And then you got Idaho saying the exact opposite. They're like, oh yeah, Brian Koberger, he's a criminologist. He's a genius, a magician. And I'm thinking, oh my God. I mean, we have to have some standard.
And he's just circling the where he's about to pounce on a crime scene and make it a crime scene. In his vehicle, he's just, making rounds. Being seen on every camera, but yet he avoided every camera to get into Moscow. I mean, come on. I mean, you guys, if you're really gonna just sit back there and not say to yourself, okay, there's more here. Okay, if you guys want to say that Brian Kober is, guilty, I don't know how you just say that. You could say it after trial. Could you say, okay, I think they arrested somebody that is part of it, but you see all these returns coming back. You see all these returns coming back, and you see the defense like one thing after another. And here we were supposed to get a preliminary hearing. Oh, now we got to go secret grand jury. I mean, it is one thing after another, and then they're gonna. Oh, we don't want to have the, the victims have to testify.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they're gonna have to testify. They're gonna have to eventually testify.
I mean,
that's just what's gonna happen.
I mean, there's no way they can get around that because you're going to have to explain your 8 hours. I'm sorry. It is what it is, you're trying to tell us that this guy is a stalker, serial type killer like Bundy or BK or BTK or one of those, and the evidence is not there because he wouldn't leave those two people alive to, tell people, oh, he walked out the door. It's, and I know that there was something about Kaylee seeing mass people in the tree or something like that when she took the dog out. I don't exactly know where that came from or if it's true. But, if that is true, that could be another reason that they were frantically dialing Kaylee's ex, Jack, because he lives right there. Maybe they were scared and they were trying to, text because they were both doing it, they said. And maybe they didn't want to call police because look at how the police had treated him in the last 3 months. I mean, they were like literally, targeting this house and these girls and giving them all this trouble. So maybe they were like, oh, we can't, we're not going to call the police, but oh my God, there's these guys, somebody's out there. And I don't know where that came from, but I'm just saying if that is true, I could see why they would be spastically dialing, Jack D because he lived right there and maybe they were scared. I mean, it just with the BK thing being I just can't, you know, I can't with him. And I think it's scary that so many people can, because like I said, this could be my husband, my son, you know, my nephew, anybody that you love. If this is our level of, you know, of standard for, you know, accusing somebody and keeping them in jail all this time, we got problems, because it's crazy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's all I wanted to say. That
Well,
you so
Jennifer,
much.
you rock. You rock. I always love talking with people, you know, and that have some logic up there, girl, and you definitely got it.
I do, and that is why I do not have a channel, because I've seen what you went through, and I was like, hell to the ever no. But I
Yeah.
do work with I work with Curious Rose a lot.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I've gone on Mia's and even Hot Ham, and I like to go on because I,
Yeah.
you know, have all these thoughts in my head that I have to get out. But like, I'm like, oh no, I don't need, I don't need the drama.
You know what? Definitely think about it. Because I can't
Yeah,
tell you that it's not there, because, you know, it is, but you just
Oh,
gotta try to ignore it. But definitely
Yeah.
that's not ignorable. But you
Oh,
rock,
yeah.
Jennifer. Thank you so much for coming up here.
All
And
right.
I'm sure we will talk again soon. Okay, hon?
Absolutely. See you later. Thank you.
Okay. Bye, hon. Again, just a stellar night with people calling in. But I want to say, you know, thank you to everybody that came up here. Thank you for everybody in chat being so kind and putting up great, you know, questions. And but today's live was all about going over the documents, and then, you know, when you compile them all and you look at that, you know, it's a big picture, and you look at what everybody has said, and you take it and you put it on a board, and you take the search warrants and you look at everything, and it's like, okay, what's kind of missing here? And for me, you know, you needing to get more out of search warrants and date it all the way back to, you know, June 23rd. Why is that so significant? Why do you need more information? Everybody's cell phone, all these numbers, you need to go back. We need to get more records. We need to look at something, because, and that's my opinion only, and it's because they're trying to put, they're trying to put, what do you call it? They're trying to pinpoint everybody. They're trying to, because Anne's saying it, my client has no connection to any of these victims. Okay. So you got to go back to the drawing board. All right. Hey, we'll go back further, you know, see what's up, you know, take it back. But what else was going on in June? I mean, I don't know. This is just me spitballing things. And the other thing, I don't want to ignore what Olivia, her sister, had to say. And she's like, here, this is my sister's LinkedIn account. Where is it? It was deleted. She thought law enforcement deleted it. If law enforcement didn't delete it and the family didn't delete it, okay, when was it deleted? And let's even say that it was deleted by Kaylee. Let's even say it was deleted by Kaylee. That should even tell us more. Why would Kaylee delete her LinkedIn? She's just about to start a career, right? Why would, that's like, you know, why would you delete your LinkedIn? And so when you think about all of that, well, what does LinkedIn have to do with? That's not like deleting like your Facebook or like your Instagram, Snapchat. This is that's like your work history, work. Okay. Why does everything around the work stuff have to be such a big secret? Why does everybody and what they do for a damn living have to be such a big secret in Moscow? Right? Why are you subpoenaing the department, the Idaho Department of Labor? These kids are in college, right? These kids are in college. You know? That's going to round us out. Again, thank you guys for joining us. Truth and Transparency appreciates all of you guys. Make yourself known. Thumbs it up, thumbs it down. You have an opinion. Share the video. Again, we will do it soon here. until next time, thank you, members. Thank you, subscribers, and thank you so much to the moderators. They always have their hands full. I saw VA Scorpio was in here earlier. Matwa was in here. Boston was in here. There she is. Bella was in here. I mean, you name it. Everybody was in here. Give them all the props in the world because they keep it 100 in that chat to make it as enjoyable and as welcoming to all walks. So love them. Thank you guys. See you soon. Miss Nine's late to the party, but she's here. All right, guys, until next time. Bumblebee, I got you, girl. I got you. Bumblebee was here the whole time, man. Bumblebee was here before I even got on. So thank you. And then as always, Gina, thanks for sloshing it up here. Appreciate you. Take care. Good night. All the callers, thank you as well.